Today, we're discussing a major global event, the death of Pope Francis. It's a moment that's sending shockwaves across the world.
Absolutely. He wasn't just the head of the Catholic Church. He was a symbol of reform, humility, and modern values in many ways.
Right. He was often seen as a pope of the people. Do you remember how he chose to live in the Vatican guest house instead of the papal apartments?
Yeah, that really stood out. It wasn't just symbolic. He lived what he preached about simplicity and accessibility.
And he constantly emphasized caring for the poor, the environment, and refugees. That broadened the Church's focus beyond just doctrine.
True. He was also unafraid to challenge the Church's internal norms. His stance on LGBTQ+ individuals was groundbreaking.
Who am I to judge? That line really shifted conversations. It didn't change doctrine, but it signaled a more compassionate tone.
Still, not everyone was thrilled. Conservative circles often criticized him for going too far or being too political.
Yeah, especially his environmental encyclicals and his critiques of capitalism. Some saw that as stepping into political territory.
Yet that's what made him such a unique leader. He brought moral conversations into places they hadn't been before.
What do you think his biggest legacy will be?
I'd say his effort to humanize the papacy, making it less distant, more real.
I'd go with his push for synodality, bringing in more voices, including laity, into decision-making. It's democratizing, in a sense.
The fact that his death is being mourned not just by Catholics, but by leaders across religions and ideologies says a lot.
Exactly. UN leaders, environmental activists, and even atheist commentators are paying tribute. That's unusual for a pope.
Do you think this will influence the next conclave's decision?
It could. His legacy sets a high bar. Will the next pope continue his path or take a more conservative turn?
That's the big question. The Church is still grappling with internal divisions.
I wonder how much his global popularity will weigh into the cardinal's decisions.
Popularity with the masses versus doctrinal purity. It's a tough balance.
Another thing, he was the first pope from the Americas and the Southern Hemisphere. That broke centuries of Eurocentrism.
Yes, and it spoke volumes about the shifting demographics of Catholicism. The Church is growing fastest in the global South.
So maybe we'll see another non-European pope?
Possibly. Maybe even someone from Africa or Asia. That would continue the shift he began.
But even beyond geography, it's about mindset. Will the next pope be pastoral and reform-minded?
Or more traditional, focused on doctrine and order. It's a crossroads moment for sure.
Do you think the public is ready for a pope that continues Francis's openness?
Many are, especially younger Catholics, but older, more conservative voices still carry weight.
That generational divide might shape the Church's future. Francis tried to bridge it, but it wasn't easy.
Not at all. And now with his passing, some of those tensions may come to the surface again.
It's also a time of global instability, wars, climate crisis, inequality. The Pope's voice mattered on those issues.
Definitely. He wasn't silent. He visited conflict zones, called out injustice, and didn't sugarcoat things.
His message about caring for our common home, that stuck with a lot of people, Catholic or not.
Yeah, Laudato Si became a rallying cry for climate action in faith communities.
I remember activists quoting him at climate marches. That's not something you saw with previous popes, and
Do you think his death marks the end of that momentum?
not necessarily. But it's up to the Church and the next pope to keep it alive.
And to evolve it, maybe. Because the issues he addressed are still very much with us.
There's also the personal loss. For many, he felt like a moral compass.
He challenged people, even when it was uncomfortable. That's rare in leadership.
It's strange to think of a world without him. He's been pope for over a decade.
13 years of shaping discourse, not just inside the Church, but globally.
His passing feels like the closing of a chapter.
Yeah, but also the start of something new. The Church has to decide what direction it takes now.
And the world will be watching, probably more closely than usual.
I think that's part of his legacy too, making people pay attention to the moral voice of the Church.
Even those outside the faith tuned in to what he said.
So, How do we sum up a papacy like his in just one sentence?